get right into it. Next episode. But this one I want to title it was Maslow's Hierarchy of Needs. Now, you probably, I'm hoping you did, in your, maybe it might be good, I don't know these days what school's like, the traditional education system. But in basic, I think it's philosophy or it's psychology. I'm going to say philosophy class that you, in your high school, the public system, I'm assuming you probably heard about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. At least that's when I first heard of it. And it goes down there's five. And each one is higher than the other, but you can't get to the highest level until the next level until you've achieved the previous level, the former. Now, let's just go through them so I can get to my point. The first one's psychological needs. Breathing. Wow, okay. Food, water, shelter, clothing, sleep. Oh man, some people haven't even got that right. Even when they have food, they're not even eating right. Next one, safety and security. So the first one was psychological need. No, my bad, not psychological. Physiological, like basic physical needs. My goodness. Next one is safety and security. Maybe for me, it's grammar. Safety and security, health, employment. So have a job, isn't that funny? Property, have a house. Family, that's interesting. Now you think family would be on the first one. And social ability, like your ability to socialize as a human being. So it's funny, you have to get this is interesting to me because I think it's easy for us to misconstrue the two within the first and two, but I digress. Love and belonging, that's the third one. Friendship, family, intimacy, sense of connection. I'm pretty sure that's like 20, that's like 80% of the population right now just got cut just from that word alone. Well, we're connected. I'm not sure about the intimacy part. Self-esteem is the next one. Fourth level. Confidence, achievement, respect of others, the need to be a unique individual. Isn't that something main character energy, right? Now I know what you're thinking, Andre. I don't really agree with all these because I don't really need them. Well, don't worry, we're gonna get to that. And the final one, quote unquote, self-actualization, morality, creativity. Notice that one right there. Usually kids have that. Spontaneity, acceptance, experience, purpose, meaning, and inner potential. Interesting. Now, there's actually one above that one. And the reason why you don't know about it is because Maslow came up with that in his death, like as he's dying on his deathbed, and his kids recorded it. And so for some reason it's not in his works because, well, he was dead, but he talked to his kids about it. So his kids have it, but of course they're not him, so therefore it's, they can't really take their word for it, which is unfortunate. But I digress. Look into that on your own. The last one above self-actualization is actually self-transcendency. Write that word down. Self-actualization. The one above that is self-transcendency. That means to pass on the torch, or to have, should I say, you have a successor. It's more than having kids. For example, I would say the fundamental or foundational principle of success is successors. If you have people that come after you that take what they learn from you and you made their lives better, etc., technically speaking, you didn't die. For example, Jesus Christ. For example, right? Like, this guy has been quote unquote dead physically for 2,000 plus years, and yet there's crosses everywhere. As far as I'm concerned, there's crosses everywhere. It's one of the most major religions, and it's the number one most popular religion in the world, number one most bought book in the world, and he's transcended death. There are people that tell you, this guy's changed my life, and then you never met this man physically, but here we are talking about him still. And that's powerful, self-transcendency. So when you do something that goes beyond the parameters of your own life, that is crazy. You can argue Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, the Wright brothers, cars, cell phones, etc. We're doing things that these people have done that transcend their life. Now, you might be thinking, well, Andre, I'm not going to do things like that. So this is above my pay grade. Well, that's just it. Do you have kids? Did you have a family and all this other stuff? Did you influence other people's lives? Did you mentor? Did you do something? The answer is yes. I mean, it's not a rhetorical question. The answer is yes, unless you live under a rock and you didn't socialize with any human being. But then you can say the opposite's also true. You did the exact opposite, and it probably affected lives, right? Like your your actions have done positive or negatively. But I digress. Why is this important? Because I've seen a lot of nihilistic, what's it called? Oh my goodness. Yes, existential crisis, or should I call it existential nihilism? Oh, we're just a planet that's a grain of sand on a much greater grain of sand of the universe, and our lives mean nothing. And by that standard, then the only thing that really matters in our life is having pleasure. And if we don't have pleasure or joy, then we should just go and off ourselves. You can see how that line of thinking can be bad. But it's not wrong, especially when you look at that perspective. It's like, well, that's pretty valid. Yeah, that's a valid point. But that's not the only point. Where did I learn this from? It's actually from a book called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. You can read it. I don't know why the book intrigued me because, it's at 7. I said, man, 7's a very contrived number. Surely can't be that much of a slog to read. Well, it's a brick, but I digress. And really in the intro, it talks about that self-transcendency. Now, that's how I learned about the Maslow thing. But the other aspect why that's important is because when you allow your life to only have meaning within those parameters, which a lot of people do, you have essentially set yourself up for failure. I know it's a laughing matter, but it's ironic. It's like, wait a second. My life only has meaning when I have fun and I enjoy it. Okay, so if I don't enjoy it, my life has no meaning, which means it's subject to my feelings and the parameters of my circumstances. When you say it out loud, you realize just how dangerous that mindset is, and it's like destined to fail. I mean, just destined. Nice. Thermos water. Much cooler. Have you done that? Where are you on this Maslow's hierarchy? But I want to take this thought and add one more layer to it. I know you thought I was done, but nope. Your prayers were not answered. Actually, once you look back in human history, I'm going to use an iconic one because I'm sure you all know this one, and if not, well, whatever your idol is. But I want you to flip the pyramid upside down. What would happen if you put self-transcendency or self-actualization first? Is that even possible, Andre? Technically, yes. Because if you look in human history, there were human beings throughout history that did that. What do I mean when I say that? Well, look at Martin Luther King. This guy was willing to die for the cause. He was self-actualized. He already knew, well, Andre, hold on, wait a second. What about food, water, and shelter? He had clothes on him, so he had those things filled. So technically speaking, he was, no, think about it. He was willing. These people are willing to sacrifice shelter, family, friends, being ostracized, criticized, ridiculed, social persecution. I mean, you have to, if you ever noticed yet, if you take a stand for anything, pretty much 50% of America hates you. You realize that happens, right? Like the second you take a stand, if you're left, then you're right. Then you're not right. If you're right, then you're not left, right? You see what's happening here? So the hierarchy, if you think about it, if you flip it upside down, you will make history because you're willing to sacrifice everything for what you believe. Not just that you believe in yourself, or what you believe, which isn't that technically self-transcendency? And do you notice that these people throughout history, they're not known for, my name is MLK. And you think okay, who cares? But when you hear that, you think of, oh, African Americans and civil rights, freedom, racism, etc. You hear his name and you inadvertently connect the dots with a something that transcends his name. You see what's happening here? Abraham Lincoln signed the bill. Seems like a cool guy. George Washington, that guy, first president. You're able to attach meaning to these people's names that is beyond their names. Like there's a proverbial ideology that's attached to their names. You see what's happening there? Like when you hear their name, you don't say, oh, which one? You say, oh, that guy that we talked about in school for like 5 minutes for some reason. We don't talk about. You ever notice we have 50 plus presidents? We got like practically 50 plus presidents. I might get canceled for that because I'm sure someone's gonna be like, we actually only have 47. I'm not good with details. Okay, I apologize. I need to get a melancholy on here to fact check everything. But in any event, and yet you don't. I bet you couldn't even list 7 of them. I don't think I could either, but that's not the point. Why is it that you remember these iconic ones? Because not only were they in a moment of crisis, but they had a sense of meaning attached to them as a person. Just think about that. Live your life with an inverted Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and you will notice that you will stand above everyone else because everyone else wants food, everyone else wants the football game, everyone else wants jobs and family and this and stuff, and that's good. But if you do the opposite of that, you will come off as different, not weird. There's a difference between socially awkward and weird. You will become off as weird because it seems like you're not really concerned yourself with things that everyone else concerns themselves with. So, let that simmer. Really look back at all the people that you respect, and do you notice that fundamental concept that's happening there? They may not even realize it. I don't think that's even a term coined in our society yet, but it is one worth considering. That if you live your life with an inverted pyramid, you will get the results of those who've done that. All right. And with that, you have a blessed day. Deuces. Talk to you later.